Hi, this is Siyanda writes from Twitter, to talk about the African nations in high school hashtag that was hot all over Africa yesterday. And I think it trended in South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and Zimbabwe, and maybe a few other countries that I didn't quite find out about. But it was basically stemmed from a question that I asked on Twitter, just, because I'm always interested in what other Africans think about each other and themselves, and I'm always interested in inspiring, Pan Africanist discourse. So I asked, which kid in high school would your nation be specifically to the Africans? And then I started the hashtag Africans nations in high school. So I started with Botswana, Swaziland, and South Africa because those are the countries that I'm interested in, and the ones that I'm most familiar with because I am from Botswana. I am in Botswana, and I was born in Swaziland, and I spent quite a bit of time there. So in South Africa as well, I spent a lot of time there, and I'm very familiar with the politics. So I started with the Botswana one, in which I said that Botswana would be that kid in high school that has a drinking problem and hides it from his soldier dad. And this is because of the very strict alcohol levies that we have here, for a population that consumes quite a bit of alcohol and has a leader that does has expressed several times his own detest for alcohol consumption. And then I also tweeted that South Africa would be the mixed race kid whose parents are always fighting about um, who they think messed him up more, which is kind of an homage to the fact that currently the political landscape in South Africa is such that the political parties and the races and all the different people are fighting over who they think is responsible for the several problems that the country, like any other country, is experiencing. And then Swaziland, I tweeted, is the fat kid who no one ever sees eating. And this is because, it's quite known that the king of Swaziland lives a very lavish life, but the country is, in various stages of economic turmoil. So that's interesting to see, that played out into a smaller role of a high school character and how that reflects the whole country's kind of situation at the moment. And I also tweeted that he would also be very, very keen on younger women. And this is, because of the king of Swaziland, his history of marrying very young women. So those are the kind of things that I wanted to talk about. I didn't expect it to get as large as it did, and it did. And I was happy when other people contributed to the Twitter topic because they made it extremely funny. And the Kenyans joined in with the usually very witty banter. The Zimbabweans joined in, and it was very interesting to find that there were recurring themes. A lot of people had the same perceptions of the same countries or similar perceptions of the same countries. Zimbabwe, I tweeted, Zimbabwe is that really smart kid who has a father that insists on embarrassing him in front of the white children. I also tweeted that Nigeria is the kid who has a lot of potential, but the teachers think that his parents are not very supportive. And, this is all kind of a distillation of the political landscape and how it could be if it was, one person in high school. So I was very happy when it blew up, and I learned quite a bit about other African countries. I was especially excited when people from countries I didn't know that much about that story contributed to it, and a lot of people said a lot of funny things. So if you'd like to check it out, it's still going very strong. And yeah, so that is it. I think African nations in high school hashtag. Sianda, right?